Ben,
Nice to meet you.
thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
Appreciate
happy
it.
to.
And it's Big Ben's Moving Company.
Big Ben's Moving Service, soon to be storage. Yeah.
Wait, you're opening up a storage center?
Our storage facility is opening up. They tell me early April, which means late April. So soon though.
I am so glad that you're here. And the fact that you are a moving company,
Yeah.
which directly impacts so many people that these videos are even geared towards, people
Yeah.
that are moving into town, people moving companies into town, like I did a few years ago. So this is going to be great. So first of all, how long has your business been in place?
Well, I have grown up kind of doing it, but I got licensed and insured just over 5 years ago. Kind of got legit, started taking it more serious and saying, hey, this is going to be something, not just a side cash project, but something I'm going to start doing legit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say you grew up doing it, what do you mean?
Well, the full origination story, my grandma, she had a rest home that she managed.
Okay.
And she always found that the moving companies were either, big and overpriced or kind of local and shady. There was never really anyone she could trust. So kind of out of necessity, she kind of said, hey, I need you and your brothers to kind of be my movers. And my dad helped out. And, she knew she could rely on us. And we knew we had to do up to grandma's standard of work. And she knew she could rely on us. And we knew we had to keep the quality high. So that's kind of the birth of this little company, how it started.
Okay.
We didn't know we would luck into, the highest growing area in around here. And we
Right.
didn't know the real estate market would boom like it did. And we've worked hard, but we've also been really fortunate too.
So that's actually probably made a big difference for your business even recently with the real estate market doing what it is.
It's directly connected. Yeah. So as someone who grew up here in St. George, sometimes you get sad to see it sad to see it grow so much. Like I remember when they started building houses and it started to block the view of the Red Mountain, I was, a little bummed, but as a business owner moving people in, I'm so glad. And overall, it's so great for the community that people are coming and they're realizing how great Southern Utah is.
So when you're moving people, I need to know this. Are you moving people from location in St. George to new development in St. George and outskirts? Or are you bringing people in from out of town?
We do a lot of everything. The majority of our work is right here in town, but we do offices, we do long distance stuff, we do anything that people will have us do. We like to be accommodating.
Okay, so you say you've had this business really moving for 5 or 6 years, something like that. What have you seen happen during that period?
Well, specifically on the growth,
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen tons of boom. Just the suburbs keep growing. Lots of people coming in from California and the West, Oregon, Washington. There's lots of movement between Salt Lake area and St. George just because we have snowbirds and stuff like that. But yeah, there's activity to and from everywhere, just because people will always be moving to different places, but you notice patterns like that, where people are coming from, stuff like that.
And you move a lot of businesses too.
Yeah, I just there's a cool gun shop I just got done giving a bid to. They're going to expand and they're getting a different office across town. So those ones are fun. We do law firms, people remodeling. We get to see a lot of other people growing too. So it's exciting.
So and that's exactly where I was going with that. You're moving these companies because they're in St. George. St. George is expanding. These companies are expanding. And so are you moving them into, I'm just trying to put this growth together. Are you moving them into new developments, like newer buildings that are being built, or what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Because I look at this and I go, how much, I know we're seeing a lot of residential growth,
right?
Obviously, an enormous amount of that. But what about office buildings? You see a lot of that.
Oh yeah, yep. I mean, this company, they're succeeding. I have them just on my mind because I was just barely with them. But I talked to the owner. He's like, "Yeah, we're growing too fast." I was in their shop. There was there wasn't even standing room. There's too many people in there in line buying guns and stuff like that. They just needed a bigger place, and somewhere that's going to get better traffic too. So that was exciting to see the hustle and bustle of that transition.
Okay, so now I have to ask you then, because we're in a smaller market.
Yeah.
And you have a service that exists in every market across the country. There's usually going to be somebody that does that type of work.
Right.
What do you do to from a marketing and advertising standpoint so that people know you exist? One of the things that I talk about with people here is that in a market like St. George and hundreds, if not thousands of other communities like this across the United States, there isn't a television station. And the radio stations are very limited in number and also to the number of people listening to them. So those kind of traditional media outlets for moving aren't available to you necessarily. And so I wonder what does somebody like you do to get the word out? Well,
I see that as kind of an opportunity, that a lot of businesses have the chance to be the best, like the big fish, So I think for me, it is a little different. I have several representatives. This is kind of my hidden secret, but BNI chapters, local networking. I go to networking events with the city, the chamber. They have corporate alliance, stuff like that that you can do. I sponsor the board of realtors. Connecting where there's a lot of real estate activity. So obviously getting involved with people there helps me specifically. One advantage I see to being a business owner in St. George is people want to be here. So there's a reason why my company is kind of based here. And that's because my most valuable resource is my people, my movers. So like my trucks and equipment aren't better than anybody else's, but my movers definitely are. I think you could say that for other businesses. Like you could find someone who's willing to do a specific job, maybe for less or for a longer, you might be able to retain them more successfully because St. George is the destination. Southern Utah is where people want to be. And, you can offer them a good job, but you can pay less than you have to pay for Salt Lake or Vegas, to get the same quality work.
Do you have trouble finding people to work for you?
Not really. My philosophy is I pay my guys more than the market would say. So like other moving companies who are paying their guys, basically scrub wages, I pay about double that, and it helps me retain. And I have guys competing for hours versus, hating their job.
Okay.
So that's unique to me though.
And you're able to keep people pretty busy then.
Yeah. Yep.
Which doesn't surprise me right now. I mean, I know what's happening with the market, at least right now.
Yeah, right now, Parade of Homes is going on and everyone wants to move. So yeah, we have all of our trucks are out working all day, especially lately.
Okay. And I'm just curious then, from a percentage standpoint, business versus residential.
I'd say 90-10.
Okay.
Yeah.
90-10
residential.
In favor of residential.
Yeah.
Most of it's residential.
Yep.
Are these people moving, once again, inside the city, or are these people coming in from out of town, moving into homes that, because they're taking a job down here, or what do we, or retirement?
A lot of both.
I know this is.
Yeah, we see a ton of both. People know us as a household name right here in town. A lot of people hear about us through their agent or through another professional that they're working with as they're moving to or from. So yeah, we do see a ton of that patterns of people coming from Salt Lake and California and other places all across the country, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, everywhere really. But so you see both. You see people growing and just getting into a bigger home or downsizing here. You see people coming from out of town. You see people retiring or snowbirds. They have seasonal second home. So we see a good variety.
I'm really curious now. You must interface with some of these people directly.
Yeah.
So people moving in from out of town, what kind of stories do you hear? What's bringing people here largely?
Well, I think what you could pretty much figure it out on your own. A lot of people are they come for political reasons, they come for financial reasons, they come for the weather, they come because it's easier on them, the weather, whether they're sick or elderly. They come because property value, even though it's climbing, it's lower than California. And jobs, there's growth. People are coming because there's more companies and more opportunities. I think the biggest thing I see here is there's so much unmet demand. When I first started my company, I was really worried about the threat of other moving companies, stealing away competition. But I've kind of realized that there's really plenty to go around. I'm still competitive, but I think we can't keep up with how much moving is going on. And same thing with other businesses, even if everyone's starting something, there's still so much untapped market. That's just what I see.
So you're building a storage facility then. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, that's kind of the new exciting thing, is because I would get calls, hey, can you move us? We've heard you're great. Yeah, sure, no problem. Oh, and can you store us? No, and I love all the storage facilities in town. I haven't had a bad experience with one of them. They've all been awesome. But I would pass them off basically, and that would be the end of it. But now we're going to be able to take care of the same customers and just do their storage as well, which is really fun.
Yeah, really. Yeah. That's a whole new opportunity that just builds out of.
Yeah.
So are you building this from the ground up? Is it a brand new facility?
You can't buy one. There's no one would sell a storage facility in their right mind.
Yeah, I guess not. I remember when I was in Denver, I knew some people that had invested in, actually built one.
Yeah.
And it was just, they built it and it was filled.
That's the plan.
So it was just kind of just made a lot of money for them just regularly, because there was always people in those things.
Yep. Yeah, we got it all. I was out at the job site today, and we have an awesome construction crew. I was able to find a great architect banker team, and it was hard. I think the biggest thing, and entrepreneurs know this, but there's a big pain tolerance. You can't really take no for an answer, because I was told no over and over by these banks, because I was trying to do it on my own as a 25-year-old kid, and I just heard no a lot, but then just didn't give up, and finally got the right banker, the right construction guy, the right architect, the right team, and it went through, and it's almost done now.
That's actually really fascinating. That pushing something like that sticking to it would open up an opportunity like that, especially something like that. That it seems like the reaction would be to, the door's closed. Oh, well, we tried. Yeah. And then the perseverance actually makes a difference in trying to make something like that happen.
Yeah. Other people do it. Why not me? And I have I don't know of anyone else that has such a good connection to people who need storage too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an obvious sister company. Obviously, a lot of other people have figured that out. So we push through. I don't think that this city is very beautiful. So the city doesn't want storage units in places where, there's scenic views, but, we found some that will do just fine for our customers.
Well, I'm actually really glad you brought this up, because one of the things that I talk to everybody about in these little discussions is the infrastructure that exists and how, and does it serve your needs? And so even though there was an infrastructure in place that was serving you, you actually took this need and said, hey, I can actually expand the infrastructure. So you had the things that you needed, but you created a whole new business opportunity out of the fact that there was such a demand for it.
Yeah, and we're not going to slow down. We're planning on doing more, because a lot of these storage units that aren't even done are already spoken for. Right. So we know that there's still going to be some demand even after this.
So you have trucks.
Yeah.
So from an infrastructure standpoint, then you obviously must have an office somewhere and a place where you park your trucks and that kind of thing. How does that work?
Well, honestly, I just have a home office.
Okay.
And I park my trucks I only had 2 trucks, and I parked them kind of down by the college, and I would just move them every day to try to keep everyone happy and keep the codes from fines and stuff like that. And then finally, the city came and they said, hey, we need you to move your trucks. So I moved them. I found a good spot that they were kind of out of the way. But honestly, no, I bootstrapped this without an office, without a parking space, without stuff like that, So it is possible. You have to work with people, there is rules in place and guidelines you have to follow. But I think that people really, generally, they want to see you succeed. They don't want, they want to keep the codes, but they don't want to hurt anyone.
Sure. Mm-hmm. I asked you about marketing a few minutes ago, and you talked a lot about you're involved with organizations, you've got outreach, you're networking, getting to know people. Do you do anything besides that, or is everything that you do word of mouth here?
No, I mean, I do a lot of SEO work online. I really don't do a ton of, paid advertisement as far as traditionally. Mm-hmm. But I think this city is unique in that it's big enough that you can really find some true success in business, but still small enough that it will definitely pay off to do good old-fashioned networking and, really doing some outreach and finding a group of people you can trust. And a lot of the face-to-face stuff pays off. And I think that maybe that couldn't be said in other markets or other cities where this is a place that it still counts.
So, and you said you're a member of the chamber. Yeah. And so outside of these organizations, do you ever interface or have to deal with things from a local government level, like the city government, the county government?
Do I ever interact
do you ever
with them?
Yeah, I'm asking, part of what we want to learn a little bit about is there, what else could the government on a city and a county level be doing that would help a business like yourself, or I'll even open that up. I mean, you, because of your unique business, you actually have eyes not only into your business, but what a lot of other people are going through too. And so I look at that and I think you'd be somebody that would possibly have a little vision into what that kind of thing on a broad level. Yeah.
Well, your question, maybe this is what you're going for, but this is what it made me think of. So the city and the college, they have a business resource center that's, I guess they kind of double team the city and the college, both help out. So when I was in college, they helped me get my business license, get it all set up. And then his name's Len Erickson. He works at the college and he has a whole team, they get funding from the government. And then I thanked him and I didn't really see him again until I was trying to get my loan for my storage facility. And they did a feasibility study for me. They did all this paperwork. They worked with my bank and it was a really good resource. It was really affordable. I didn't really pay anything and they just did it, they did it out of the goodness of their hearts. These are good retired business professionals that are going to be helpful to anyone who reaches out. And that was a saving grace for me because it got me started and they always answer questions too.
So this is something tied to the school?
Well, I think they team up, the city and the school. They originally had an office down by DSU. It was just north of campus. Now it's up on Tech Ridge. So they moved their office. So they're by the technical college and all those businesses up there. So when I got my business license, they were down by the college. And then when I got my bank loan, I drove up to the Tech Ridge to get that part done.
And this is a group that supports business.
Yeah, they're here to help you start your business. When you have questions, if you're looking for loans, really any step of the way, you can reach out to these people. You can just Google St. George Business Resource Center or Dixie Business Resource Center. I don't know if they'll rebrand, but
interesting.
Yeah, it's right up there. They're available and really helpful.
What sort of challenges does somebody like you have? Once again, in a market like this, if there are any, what sort of challenges are you faced with having a business in an area like this? It sounds like you stay pretty busy.
Yeah, there's really, business is open year round, where people who lived in a colder climate, they would wait to move till the roads were clear. Where here we can move year round. So we don't see as big of a dip. We always grow in the summer. That's always a popular time. But in the spring, summer, fall, we don't have a dip like other colder climates would. Of course, there's threats and there's challenges, but we've been really fortunate to we haven't really had a down year or a real pitfall the whole time we've been open. So
that's really interesting because I moved my business here from Denver a few years ago, which is obviously a much, much bigger market.
Yeah. But
I know at least it seems as though what people do there is they wait to move, and it's all based on school. That everything, it all happens once the school year ends, clear up until the school year begins, and then basically it just slows way, way down. And I think people have always attributed that to school, but perhaps maybe there's more to it than that, where that it's more about, it's not cold outside here, and it's a little easier to do some of those moves at different parts of the year.
Yeah, I think weather is going to be a factor, and also, I think it's a huge benefit to our economy to have the retired community here.
Right.
Because
that is another
they don't have a school year.
They don't have school that they're worried about.
They're so flexible. They would be happy to they'll wait till they can get a better deal, even if that means a couple months. They don't have a school schedule to keep up with, and that helps in general. Our economy didn't suffer very much because, they had a fixed income anyways when COVID hit, so right. It's a good thing to have them a part of our community.
So a company like yours, how far away have you? So I was talking to a guy that runs a limo company not long ago, and it was really funny. I think he actually drove somebody to St. Louis once, which is crazy. Yeah. But it actually happened. So do you deal with people that far away, or is most of what you're doing happening inside the state, or?
No, we did a family from Connecticut, and they moved here to St. George, and now they're actually making another move to Arizona. Okay. So we moved them into town, and they're going to come back and visit, but they're going to move their house to Arizona, and we do lots to Florida, California, the whole thing. We won't go out. We don't do international stuff, but as far as in the country, we're happy to help.
That is really something.
Yeah.
We said Connecticut, and that's about as far away. It can't get a lot farther than that. I guess a couple of states.
Pretty much the record.
That's very interesting. So what does the future look like? I mean, you're at a certain position right now. Sounds like you're going to be expanding and building more storage facilities eventually. At least that's your plan.
Yeah. Well, for me and my crew, just we're gonna keep the quality high on the moving, keep it big enough where we can tackle big jobs, but still small enough where I'm gonna be involved with every single job. Every single customer is gonna meet with me or one of the managers, and so we'll keep the quality high there. With storage, we're gonna keep expanding. I couldn't find anyone to loan me or go in with me on a storage facility when I was trying to, but now that I've done it once by myself without any help, I get calls, from investors. Hey, I saw you're doing this, on your next one, let me know. I'll go in with you, So I probably will have to look and see if I want to do more by myself or take on some passive investors who would put down some money and obviously just collect a check every month and use my storage knowledge, which I'll learn quick after this thing opens. So that's kind of the plan is, just keep perfecting it and just I'm from here, I'm going to live here my whole life. So really perfecting it and making sure that we have something we can hang our hat on is important to me, that as we grow, we don't grow too fast. But yeah, that's kind of the plan.
So it's interesting something you said a second ago about wanting to make sure that you are communicating with customers.
Yeah.
What is the value of that to you?
Oh, they're surprised. Like they're like, wait, so you're the owner, you're Ben? I'm like, yeah. What's the big deal? Because they're so used to, a big corporate company, and they don't get the customer service, especially in moving, so they appreciate it. We have sometimes people that are from Utah, they don't want to pay anything for moving because they're used to the church helping them out. But people from California or other places who have dealt with moving companies before, it's like Christmas. Like they're like, you guys are the movers. You guys are doing such a good job. You're so nice. The price is so good. Like, you should raise your prices. I'm like, come on, guys. Just, let us move you. You don't have to tell us to raise our prices in the middle of it. We're not going to, but so we have a range of experience. I think moving is something that for the culture here, they're kind of catching on. They're realizing that, okay, if we're going to break our stuff, throw it our back, get in a fight with our spouse, bug our neighbors, it probably is worth paying the moving company. People are catching on to that. It's not worth the pain anymore for them, even though traditionally that's been what they do,
Where you call the friends, you call the people, family members, and then you...
Yeah.
And then, so I'm curious now, do you guys just move or do you pack as well?
We pack too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If people hire us and pay us for our time to pack, we throw in the boxes and bubble wrap for free. So a lot of people take advantage of that too. So basically we can accommodate someone who doesn't want to touch a thing. They just leave their house the way it is. We'll come do it from start to finish. Or for our customers where budget's a priority, we'll let them pack themselves to basically trim their bill significantly. So we just let them pick. We don't care.
It's so interesting listening to you talk about that because I have helped so many people move in my life. And I think there's always a time about halfway through that move where I'm thinking, I'll write the check. Can we just get somebody else?
Yeah.
Because what happens every single time, you're going through this process, you're this and this, and then no matter what, even if you tell them, please have everything in boxes before I show up.
Yep.
No matter what, they're not ready. And then there's always that closet where you open up, you go, there's still stuff in here no one's even looked at. And then there's another closet, and then it just goes on and on. And every single time I think, man, it would have been so great to just pay somebody, just come in, move, get all this stuff packed up, get it out of here.
People are catching on to that.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of people, like you said, from California. That sounds like that's a big place that people are relocating from.
California, Salt Lake. We do those trips all the time.
How many people that you interact with are moving not just themselves, but moving a business with them?
I would say, we have a lot of people who are coming here who work remotely.
Okay.
And we have a lot of people who are coming here and bringing a business, they'll bring equipment with them for their shop or we moved a guy who does screen printing, a lot of them, especially that working class, they're coming down. So we do technology companies, accountants, lawyers, we do everything. So
there are quite a few people, at least that you see, that when they move here, it's not just... So because with so many people that are working from home now, it is something where you can just pick your lifestyle and go live wherever you want to live.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with those people.
We have some fun people like that. They'll come from Salt Lake or California and they'll be like, my company said that we're going to be permanently remote. So I'm moving to Zions National Park.
Yeah.
Like they'll work a corporate job in Silicon Valley from Zions National Park. That's their life. It's pretty cool.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And then you have other people that are also have a business.
Yep.
And then they
brick and mortar,
they bring that business with them.
Everything comes. Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, that's kind of the experience I had. Although I have to admit, I did the whole thing over a series of days myself, and with the staff that I had in Denver, we had a couple of big trucks, and it was just a couple of days of moving things downstairs.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a time about 11 o'clock at night on one of those nights where I thought, why the heck did I do this to myself? I've been through that a few times. I don't think I'll do that again. I think it's going to...
We're here now.
It's somebody else to help with that. That's ugly stuff. So anything else that how would people get a hold of you?
We're online. Like rattle off my phone number, but you just type in Big Ben's Moving St. George. We're the first thing that pops up. So
Big Ben's Moving St. George.
Yep.
So this new storage facility that you're building, where's it going up?
So it's going on the south side of town, out kind of by the airport, the Fort Pierce Industrial Park. So
Okay.
just South River Road, and that's where a lot of the development's going to be. So we're excited. It's going to have climate-controlled units, anything from a 40-foot unit to a 5-foot unit. So we should be able to accommodate everybody. We're really excited.
Man, I really appreciate you coming in and talking. This is absolutely fascinating to me because, well, like I said, you're on the front lines of seeing all the stuff that's happening and all the movement that's taking place, and how this. And I want to talk about this for a second, because one of the things that I think a lot of people are predicting is that, especially after having COVID, I mean, I moved away from Denver because I just wanted to get away from the big city and I didn't want to be cold anymore. But I was so tired of being around just so many people and traffic and congestion all the time. And so I moved away, but I did that prior to a pandemic.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people have felt that way. And then we have this whole pandemic that happened this year. Do you see any changes or with that happening, or has it just been steady for you? Has it just kind of been the same thing?
Well, when they had the big, I don't know if you want to call it the big scare, when it was only going to be for 2 weeks.
Right.
We had a couple real estate, like maybe 3 jobs fall through, but just because people didn't know what was going to happen. But after that, it's gone pretty steady because, real estate hasn't taken a hit like retail or food or anything like that. It's home values haven't. Our business is connected to real estate, basically. So we haven't seen a huge hit.
Well, it's good.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Super fascinating.
I enjoyed it.